So good evening, sir and madam, students, all the participants. As, as you all know, this is a free science dialogue series, webinar series. Main purpose is to increase knowledge in bioscience stream. Here, this topic is related to how can you commercialize your science, your technology. That is also important for survival of science. Science in long term will survive if that knowledge will get commercialized. We cannot dependent on government funding always, and government will not fund long term if there is no utilization of your technology or knowledge. Knowledge must be translated, and as you know that when you have translatable knowledge, you must get their registration or right, that is patent right, intellectual property right. It comes under intellectual property right. So we have requested Mr. Vijay sir. Vijay sir is, you can say, very renowned in this IPR technology transfer and training. He has spent 20 years in different multinational company, directly or indirectly. He is not only M Pharm, but he is LLM, MBA. So we have very good, you can say, resource person, having not only scientific knowledge, but also market knowledge, corporate knowledge. And since he has spent and associated with a very good company, including Ranbaxy and other multinational company, so we are sure that we will get a very good knowledge than the average people, those who are teaching IPR and other things. And as you know, this is very interactive session. We don't stop any people to ask question. So you can utilize this as maximum as possible. I request all the participants. And I'm thankful to Vijay sir for accepting our invitation and ready to deliver this lecture to unknown audience. Sometimes in all the this science dialogue series, we convey to our participants and speaker that this is very daring task. Taking lecture in classroom is different than taking here if you are not knowing. Sometimes you can control your student, but here sometimes participants are maybe senior to the speaker. So that daring itself is a very honor. So thank you, sir. Now platform is yours for 1 hour.
Thank you so much, sir.
I have
And
not read complete your introduction and all these things because it's Hana, but it's not possible to read so many. You have so many experience, so many things.
yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And I'll start with the very question that is being asked since so many years. Actually, that I hope, am I audible actually clearly to everyone?
Yes. You are audible. You
Okay.
are very well audible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, Dr. Gopal, for allowing me to be part of this science dialogue series and for a session on patenting in life sciences inventions, basically. Uh, as discussed, I've been working with intellectual property rights since almost more than 2 decades, basically, wherein I have been involved into a lot of activities which are with respect to the patent filing till commercialization. Just to, although sir mentioned that, of course, we have some students, UG student, PG student, faculties. Maybe some of you are senior to me as well, as such, and you may have carry different kind of experience, basically. But for me, I think the experience comes from more of techno-legal side, or I would say the patent filing side or patent prosecution side, basically. And I have been associated with various universities, various, I would say, the academic institutions, the startups, the MSMEs, the, I would say, the incubation centers. We work also working with a lot of corporates, actually. Beyond being a pharmacist, lawyer, I always feel that I'm a passionate teacher. But then I never wanted to be in hardcore teaching for some XYZ reasons, because I feel nowadays most of the teachers are doing a lot of other activities except teaching. And my I wanted to be at core of teaching, and I have been teaching to I would say school students, to the lawyers, to startups, to the I would say the corporates, to the teachers as well, the faculty group faculty development programs and all that such. I have also trained customs officials at the borders. I have also trained a lot of lawyers, a lot of B school graduate, engineering graduate, even school students, as I mentioned, about intellectual property rights, IP, patent, how it is, and how we actually can get benefited through these particular schemes, basically. Now, intellectual property rights is a very broad term, and of course, I have to be very precise or specific with respect to today's session on patenting. So, patent is just one of the parts, I would say, which falls under the broader domain of intellectual property rights. But then, I would like to start with the very brief about the intellectual property rights per se, so that we understand what are patents. Just like the way we mention about the ownership, the way we say, for example, I own this particular iPhone or any asset, basically, where therein I the legal ownership is actually provided when we have the bill for that, actually. As in, I have a bill for when I purchase this. Now think of your ideas as something which have certain value, actually. And when your ideas have certain values, that point of time, you need a legal proof that you own those ideas, basically. And intellectual property rights provide you that legal ownership for your own ideas. Now, when I say ideas, that point of time, it is about the scientific inventions as well. Now, patents specifically are for the scientific inventions, scientific community only. And when we think of the patents in terms of the scientific communities, we also need to understand that these scientific inventions may not be, I would say, really blockbuster inventions, but it may be simple inventions which are being carried out in your labs, or they may be part of your master's thesis, the PhD thesis, or in few cases, UG projects as well, undergrad projects as well. Those can be something which may be part of the patenting process as such. Now, as I mentioned, patent is something which is for legal protection for scientific inventions. Then a lot of means we have been hearing about patents, we have been hearing about the intellectual property rights because of so many factors in last few days or last few years, basically. But then what exactly is patent? And there are a lot of myths about patent. We're trying to crack those myths today. Firstly, the patents or the intellectual property rights per se, they do not give you any right to commercialize the invention. Means what? That means these are negative rights. We call them negative rights. Why are they negative rights, basically? What kind of rights are we getting once we get a patent? Basically, patent is exclusive right. I'll give you an analogy, actually, or all of you can, some of you at least can connect to that. So when we see the movie Three Idiots, in that movie we have a character played by Mr. Funsuk Wangdu, who is a scientist, and then there is another character which is being played by Chatur Ramlingam. Now, when we say that Chatur Ramlingam wants to commercialize certain technologies, So so he tries to approach Funsuk Wangdu. Why? Funsuk Wangdu has certain inventions. He has certain patents actually. Those patents are the ones which someone else, that is Chatur Ramlinga, wants to commercialize. He can't do that. Why so? Because the rights, legal rights, are with Funsuk Wangdu. And try to understand this very clearly. If I have a patent, I have the right just to exclude everyone from using that invention. However, does that give me the right to commercialize? No, absolutely no. Why is it so? Because the concept of patent is such that it is creating negative rights to block others from using. But then why is it that I'm not allowed to commercialize? I'll give you an analogy, or the some example which would give you an idea why we call IP or patents as negative rights basically. First, most important thing, because the our entire conversation is with respect to life sciences, I use certain examples from biotech industry, or I would say from the pharmaceutical or the chemical industries. Now, there is a monoclonal antibody which has been developed in the lab. Now, the question is that if I get a patent for that, can I commercialize it? No, you cannot commercialize, because that monoclonal antibody per se, if you need to commercialize, you have to go through the commercial channel. That is, regulatory body need to approve it. What are those regulatory bodies then? So we have FDAs. Rather, patents are optional. Patents are optional. If you want to commercialize, patents are optional. What is mandatory is the regulatory approval. Then why is everyone running after patents actually? So herein the reason is that patent gives you the monopoly right. It gives you a monopoly right, means only you can use it for 20 years. If only you can use it, others are not allowed, and that gives you a big boost actually in terms of market or business. That's the reason every other company, from Pfizer to Astra to Merck to Microsoft or to Google, everyone is using patent as a strategic tool for protecting their inventions basically. Right? Now, since patents are negative rights, we now know that they are can be used as strategic tools for negotiation as well. Think of, as we work with a lot of universities, academic institutions, and students as well, even for that sake, they ask us, shall we actually file a patent because we can't commercialize it? Answer. Think of yourself as Funsuk Wangdu. Funsuk Wangdu never wanted to commercialize it, right? But then he has certain ideas, certain inventions. If you do not protect it, anyone can use it without even giving credit to you, right? If you want a value coming out of it, okay, then file it as a patent. You have a patent, and if anyone else wants to use it, for sure they are going to come to you. That's the reason Chatur Ramlingam came all the way to sign that multi-million-dollar deal with Funsuk Wangdu. Right? That's how it is shown in the movie. Does it happen practically? Maybe yes, maybe no. When does it happen? It happens only when your invention has certain value in terms of commercialization, or only when there is a value for that invention actually, so that the product can be commercialized. It has nothing to do with whether you have a patent or not actually. commercialization is separate. So I think we need to understand this very clearly, that patent is optional. Why we are doing, why everyone is doing, actually there are reasons. So to create monopoly, but then what is mandatory is the regulatory approach from lab to market. What is the way? In case of pharmaceutical life sciences product, it is the FDA. In case of telecom, it is the TRI, or there are n number of regulatory agencies, right? How to, like, we have FSSAI. You come up with a food product, nutraceutical product, you need a FSSAI license. Without patent as well, you can commercialize it. Is it necessary to have? But then, simple question: why are we here then? Right now, patents give you strategic advantage. They are giving you. So let me be blunt. If we have students, if we have, I would say, faculty members, why should we go for patent filing as such, right? So will cover this, uh, these these things in terms of certain questions actually, beyond what has been said or how I discussed. I've conducted more than 300 sessions about IP awareness pan India in 30 states offline actually. I've been asked about a lot of questions about the patenting system as such, right? And I have tried to collate all that data in one single session in today's session about the life sciences patenting. So we'll try, and of course, whatever questions you have, you can put it in the chat box so that I can take those questions at appropriate time. Okay, now, so that's about patents. They are created, like, scientific invention. Government of India gives it to you for, let's say, 20 years time, because you have added something new to the public domain basically. So we have these criterias, for patentability, novelty, which that means the invention has to be new. When we say this, new means absolute novelty. If it is, you can't say that, okay sir, ये invention India में नहीं है, ये जापान में जापानीज में है, I am the first one in India. No, the absolute novelty means you can't have an invention patent for something which is disclosed anywhere cutting across the world. Right now, next thing, the secondary criteria is inventive step, that is unpredictability of the art. Let me tell you an interesting fact here. How does the research happen, the master's research, huge project, or PhD research in India? You get inspired from one article. Let me be a bit blunt. Get inspired from one article. You either change one component, one process step, or one parameter. Or in case of drugs, you change the drug, you change the excipient. Now, is it novel? Yes, it is novel. Is it something which is predictable? Yes, it is predictable. That unpredictability or predictability of the art is something which is a secondary criteria. It has to be unpredictable only. And of course, need to have the industrial application. That is, it is either made by the industry or for the industry. As I mentioned, I have listed the questions, and my session is in the form of these questions, and then I'll have a few slides about specifically about the life science. Now, generally, students ask us, at what stage shall I file a patent application? Do I need to wait for my thesis to be completed? Do I need to wait for my studies to be completed to file a patent application? Interestingly, we have first to file patent system. The one who files first gets the patent. So at that stage of hypothesis, you feel this may work. This is the hypothesis. Absolutely fine. File the patent at that stage. We call it a provisional patent. Maybe your generation may not connect to, but during our times, I'm 45 years old. Our times, when we used to go to school, actually, that point of time, when the bus used to come, we used to put our bags on the seat. Now, this, for this journey, this is my seat, right? That's like advance booking for that particular seed. Same thing happens here. If you have a hypothesis, file it as a patent application first. Because if someone else does that before you, you won't get a patent, whatever studies you have actually carried out. Next thing, why should I file patent application? This is one question that has been asked to me again and again in last 7 8 years. From and I'll tell you the bluntly the answers as well. From actually we say that it is to protect your invention, legally protect your invention, or I would say it is also to I would say get like monopoly rights uh, or for the industries basically. But then from practically for the faculties or to the for the researchers, let us categorize this into faculties and researchers or the students basically. For faculties, it has been helping for their KRAs, for their promotions, the fundings, the research grants, for their, I would say, salary increments, for their rankings for the institutions. It is helping for MBA, it's helping for NAC. Actually, for the students, it has been adding a lot of value for their on their CV. It adds a lot of value for if your invention or your research project, if your master's thesis, if your PhD thesis has a patent application filed. This is something which is crucial to understand. Next thing is, what data do I need to file the patent application? People feel, as I mentioned, that I don't need the entire thesis to be done, right? I don't want you to complete. See the date. Many times we get 700,000 page thesis. I have a limit of 30 pages for patent application to save the cost. What is important is the data would be dependent on what you are claiming basically. It is not necessary to have the entire invention. So I'll tell you one thing. If you come up with a shampoo product, I just need the stability. I just need simple physical characterization of the product and effect of that. That's it. I don't need anything else for that answer. The data would always be dependent on what is actually claimed. Next question. Shall I take the help of a patent agent for filing? I'm a patent agent, registered patent agent. That also gives you a lot of, I think it would be helpful for students, specifically those who are looking for their careers. I'm based in a small town in Maharashtra. So registered patent agent, if you look at this right here, I'm a registered patent agent in Indian Patent Office. Right now, Indian Patent Office carries out a patent agent examination. This exam can be qualified by any one of you who are from science degree, BSc, BTech, arts, commerce people are not allowed. Any scientific degree. Rather, we also run patent agent classes. We are the best class in India actually. I had back-to-back All India rank one from my class in last 2 years. We are running that, but then these are great career opportunities as well. However, remember this, just like Medical Council of India gives you permission to work as a doctor, Bar Council of India gives you permission to work as an advocate, Dental Council gives you permission to work as a dentist, Patent Office gives you the permission to act as a patent agent. That gives, I have a specific registration number that gives me a, permission to practice at patent office. However, as an applicant, as an inventor, one thing for sure is that it is not necessary to take help of patent agent. You can do on your own. So any one of you wants to file your patent, patent office would never say we are just agent, we are just mediators. But then why is it necessary to help take a help of patent agent? because many a times the language is techno legal. You are a technical expert, you understand map technology well, you understand, let us say, the nanotech really well, or the biomedical engineering. I may not understand that, but the legal aspect of it, patent is not just a technical, it's a techno legal document. That's where I think you would need help of patent. Can I publish my research before patent filing? Absolute no. Before patent filing, no research. You should not publish it. So publication only after patent filing. This is the golden rule. Of course, there are certain available, I would say, loopholes for that, but I'm not gonna. As a thumb rule, patent first and then publish as a research. Can I commercialize my invention after patent filing? Yes, you can commercialize. But again, commercialization has nothing to do with patent. How much is the cost? And I think this is one of the questions that is being asked as, like, I could see it in the chat box as such, that this was the one question being asked actually, that what is the cost for total cost fee for the entire process for patent filing, including all steps. Now I'll tell you what is the cost as such. As far as the Indian Patent Office is concerned, for academic institutions, universities, individuals, MSMEs, startups, the cost for filing is 1600 rupees, 1600 rupees. Uske beyond, you have a cost of 4000 for request for examination. That's the only cost actually which is to be paid at the patent office. Everything else goes to the agent. So, and including
So
early publication fees of 2500, maximum cost actually, or the fees that need to be paid to patent office is 8100. Except this, now everything goes to an agent. Now, agent charge anywhere between, from filing till grant, right? It may be anywhere between 60,000, 70,000 to many agents charge 6, 7 lakhs as well, depending on the expertise, depending on, I would say, the experience, seniority. Actually, I'll tell you one critical thing here. Both while choosing a patent agent and determining the cost, just one factor you consider. The factor is that, does your patent agent understand your technology? Now, whatever Dr. Gopalji says in terms of his invention, do I understand it? Because once I understand it, that's the reason, that's when I can actually put it into a proper format and convince the patent office to get it granted. Try to understand one more aspect here. I cannot do an invention from computer sciences. I won't understand it, right? That is the reason lawyers are not allowed to practice at the patent office. Patent agents are only scientific people like you and me. A biotechnologist, a chemist, a zoologist, a botanist, all these people are gonna work actually as patent agents. So, what is the cost? I have, I think, covered. Can I file patent application without telling my institute or guide? Interestingly, we get these kind of queries very commonly. Now, on one side, ethically it is incorrect, but on the other side, legally it is correct. Nowhere patent office asks anything with respect to where did you carry out the research. The problem herein is that everything is self-declaratory. That is, it's through declarations only. Now, it is the institution or university's responsibility to have to have an IPR policy in place to avoid these kind of, I would say, these kind of problems wherein students file patent without telling the institute or research guide as such. Next question is, can someone else file patent application for my invention? Yes, it is pretty much possible. There is a way to legally avoid this or to take care of this, but then like maybe nowadays we don't have these systems, but during when I was doing my masters, we had shared laptops, shared desktops actually. That point of time, that point of time, it was pretty much possible. It was pretty much possible to access the data, and based on that data, the patent could be filed actually. But there is a way to deal with this. I have a request, Mr. Nitin Sutar, if you can mute yourself.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah. Now, let's go to the. So, this is all about the practice fundamentals, basics about patent. Now, let us understand how the patent system works, because the question that was asked to me is cost in the entire process. How does it work? The patent application gets published after 18 months. Automatically after 18 months, it gets published. Right? How much time does it take to get the patent granted? Now, this is tricky. In fact, I had a call with one of my clients today itself, wherein I was trying to convince her that in few cases, 7 months my patent gets granted, but in few cases we required 7 years as well. On an average, it needs 2 to 3 years, let's say. On an average, it takes 2 to 3 years to have the patent granted. Again, depending on who is the controller, complexity of the invention, how many prior arts are there, and there are a number of factors. But on an average, you can presume 2 to 3 years. Does publication of application assure you the grant? No. So there are two publications. One is application gets published, and the once granted, the patent gets published. Cost, I think I have already covered. Can I commercialize the invention after grant? Absolutely yes. Would I be Funsuk Mandu once patent gets granted? Would it happen that I see this very commonly on LinkedIn, a professor mentioning that, oh, hey, I got a patent granted, and now I want someone to take it ahead. I want someone to commercialize this and give me some money. Does it happen that way? No, it doesn't happen that way. Try to understand this one thing very clearly about commercialization. This is your invention, and this need to be commercialized. Now, if you do not have patent, anyone can commercialize this without your permission. But if you have patent, they have to come to you. But then they would come to you only when if this invention has got commercial value. What is happening out is you have got a great patent agent, a smart patent agent. Your invention gets patented, but does this have a commercial value? If it doesn't have a commercial value, it won't be commercialized. You won't be Funsuk Vandu just because you got a patent. No one is gonna give you millions of dollars. Forget about millions of dollars. Even recovering that 60, 70,000 cost that you put into the patent may be very difficult. Try to understand this. What is the difference between people get confused? Design is another type of intellectual property rights which has nothing to do with patent person. Now, most of you coming from academic community know this one thing which we call as research paper. I got this slide to let you know how it is different from a patent. So most of you are running after research paper. Research paper actually doesn't give you any legal right. You just have the rights as an author. However, try to understand the differences very clearly. As long as publication is concerned, anything you file gets published as a patent application. You have a piece of paper, file this in a proper format, it gets published. without any hesitation, because the examination happens after publication. So if someone says मेरा patent publish हुआ, so what? It's a normal process. In case of research paper, the publication has a value because it goes through peer reviewing and then it gets published. In case of patent application, that's not the case. Fees, there is a fees for patent application. It's a different thing. Nowadays, even research papers are, or the publications are asking for the fees. Basically, research paper has a timeline, uh, like for variable timelines for publication. In case of patent, early publication has happened as early as 1 week to 1 month. The best that we got, Tuesday we filed the patent, Friday it got published. Next, once the patent gets granted or research paper gets published, as I said, you have a right in case of research paper as an author, but in case of patent, it is the legal right. Try to understand this. When you have a research paper published, they check the novelty part only. Naya hai ki nahi. In case of patent, it is novelty plus predictability. That's important. Now, if you have a research paper published for this invention, anyone can commercialize this. They don't need you. In case of patent, they need you. Funsuk Wangdo, you are the Funsuk Wangdo. The research paper has a right, which I would say global, but then IP rights or the patents are jurisdictional rights. Means if you have patent in India, only India के लिए आपके पास legal rights. One interesting question that has been asked to me again and again is, sir, research paper में first, second, third author होता है. Do you have the same thing in patent? Absolutely no. Rather, patent system works on the principles that each of the applicant has an equal right over it, actually. ठीक है? You, if you want to be an expert patent agent, patent drafting expert, you need a lot of practice actually. Right? So that's how we can compare the research paper versus, I would say, the patent application per se. So we're trying to understand how is it different. What I have done for life sciences, I have got certain inventions which can be patented. Like one of the domains is herbal or natural products, from nutraceutical domain, nutritional product kind of stuff. They are patentable. Like for example, we have this one example wherein a topical herbal formulation for arthritis, which comprise, it is an oil base. Now, there are myths that traditional knowledge cannot be patented. Yes, traditional knowledge cannot be patented. However, if you convert them into modern dosage form like oil, like simply as biscuit, look at this invention. It's a biscuit which comprises maize, wheat, soya, and dalia. इसका patent granted है in India. Right. So it is weight ratio, based on the weight ratio actually. It can be granted. These are some live examples as such. Look at this, we call it as a formulation typically in the pharmaceuticals. You have the herbs and then you have the excipients and you get a patent for that. Medical devices, I have some examples of medical devices. Similarly, see, generally two things are patentable. One, a product. One, a product. And second, a process for preparing the product. ये चीजें पेटेंटेबल हो सकती है depending on novelty, non-obviousness and industrial application. Now, so we have some examples of medical devices as well. Packaging hai, container hai, drug delivery technologies hai, formulations hai, new drugs. Let's go to the biotech domain. In biotech, we have a lot of inventions with respect to diagnostic kits hai, right? Then method of DNA isolation hai, freeze drying methods hai for any kind of invention, spray drying, freeze drying, recombinant host cell engineer to overexpress helper protein. I mean, these are some of the inventions from biotech domain which are patentable as such. Now, the globally or the rule is that if you have these three criterias met, you can get a patent for any research based invention: novelty, non-obviousness, industrial applicability. However, it has certain exceptions. What are these exceptions actually? Specifically with the in the context of life sciences inventions that we are going to see. Now, the first is, I would say, so these are covered under section 3 of the Indian Patent Act. The first is more applicable for chemical or chemistry inventions, which is about section 3D, wherein a new form of a known substance is not patentable unless results in the enhancement of therapeutic efficacy. That means new salt, new derivatives, new enantiomers, new complexes, new combinations are not patentable unless there is an enhancement of therapeutic efficacy. Actually, so this is more pharma, more life sciences specific. This has been one section which has been very critical or crucial, which comes in each of our pharmaceutical inventions, whatever we find. Second is 3E. Mere admixtures are not patentable. So what do you mean by mere admixture? Basically, what you do is, I'll give you an example. On one hand, you have, let's say, water. On other hand, you have some other ingredient. When you mix it, then that point of time there is aggregation of properties. Water does its function and the other ingredient does its function. So when it's a mere admixture, so it is not patentable, although it may be new. But when you say that water mixing with one more ingredient forms a solution, and that solution has some extra added advantage, that point of time you can get it. Okay. In typical scientific language, if you have a synergy or synergistic effect, that point of time you can get an invention. Mere admixture, mixing two things. Look at this. Look at this actually. Just mixed maize, wheat, soya, dalia. No, you can't get a patent. But यहाँ patent क्यों grant हुआ है? It is just not admixture. It is a biscuit with specific quantities. That's why it is granted. If my claim is a composition comprising maize, wheat, soya, dalia, no, it is not gonna get granted. I have to put it in a biscuit form with specific quantity. That's where it got granted actually. The third important one, any process which is for medicinal use, what we call, I'll give you an example, uh, or the treatments, basically therapeutic treatment, surgical methods, curative methods, prophylactic, diagnostic methods, they are not patentable under section 3I. Drug repurposing. What is drug repurposing? During COVID time, we used those maps, trastuzumab. We used certain steroids basically, which were existing actually. Remdesivir was already known. What you do is you are just using it for COVID-19 treatment, right? Now the thing is they are not patented under section 3. Next, important for biotechnology. Section 3J doesn't allow plants and animals recombinant ho, yeah, whichever hybrid parts in whole or any part thereof other than microorganisms. which includes seeds, varieties, species, and biological processes for production or propagation of plant and animals are not patentable. इनका patent नहीं मिल सकता. If you look at section 3I, I think missed one thing to tell you. See, diagnostic methods are not patentable, but diagnostic kits are patentable. A kit which has certain components may be patentable, but diagnostic method nahi. Section 3P, traditional knowledge is not patentable, or any invention which is aggregation or duplication of known properties of traditional knowledge are actually not patentable. Haldi is not patentable for its wound healing effect. However, what is patentable? Because wound healing effect is known. But let us say what I do is I come up with a nano product for haldi, curcumin, then you can get a patent for that.
There is one question from manager of Gujarat State Biotechnology Mission in chat box. Pankti Patel has asked,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
please.
Uh, yeah, okay. I got a lot of questions, sir. In fact, I'm done with the sessions. I have kept 10 minutes for the questions, and if you allow, I'll take the questions one by one. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Okay. Now, the question, Pankti Patel, how are institutional patent different from individual patent? And that's a very interesting question, actually. Firstly, institutions. So, who is owning it? Who owns it legally? Now, institutional patent means the ownership lies with the institute or the college or the university. Now, in patent, we have two things. One is applicant and second is inventor. The applicant can be an individual, a department of biotech, a university, GTU. It can be BIREC. It can be anything, any private limited company, MSME startup. In inventors, they would always be humans. Now, this, to answer the question by Pankti Patel, institutional patents are owned by the institutions and not the individuals. Legal ownership. Okay. Now, another question she has asked is, can you highlight some common mistakes researchers make while drafting patents? Okay. Again, coming back to the fundamental, do you need a patent agent's help while drafting a patent? See, what happens is a patent is a techno-legal document. It is not purely technical. Unlike a research paper, you need a bit of practice. I remember when I was doing my masters, that point of time, my research guide had mentioned one thing. Vijay, if you want to write your research paper, try to read more first. Then come do practice. So practice is required there. What mistakes they are doing, I would say, is more in terms of uh, claiming overly or claiming less. Examples, hypothetical, you can include wherever required. How much data need to be added is crucial, and that's where I think the most of the mistakes are happening. How can I get into IPR field after masters? That's the question from Muskan. Muskan, as I mentioned, and I think I can in fact tell you, there is, you can search for. I'll put a message in the group. This is patent agent training program or patent agent by Indian Patent Office. Now,
Your
this is
slide
a,
is not visible.
no, sir. I'm just typing it in the chat box. Yeah,
Okay, okay, okay,
patent
please.
agent is an exam conducted by Government of India. Appear for the exam, clear the exam. I have some professors, I have some deans of the institute, I have some master students while doing their masters crack this exam. It's conducted by Government of India. Don't go for. I'm telling you, I have an edutech company. I run a lot of courses on IP. Don't go for any course. Paid, unpaid. Don't go for any course. You don't need any course. You just need one thing, that is patent agent, if you really want to have a career. And if you crack the patent agent exam, I would say you can be very easily absorbed within the IP industry as such. Then another question I have is, I am from a state funding agency. I think this is what you mentioned, Pankti Patel. For me, your experience, what are the major challenges that Indian biotech researcher face in translating lab findings into a patentable invention, and how can a funding agency bridge that? Oh, wonderful. I think this is what something I was looking for actually. Firstly, first thing is, you need to understand this one thing, that see, for every research project there can be something which may be patented. Now the major problem is that when we think of patenting it, we go to any XYZ agent or advocate. Firstly, advocates or lawyers are not allowed. Do they understand your invention? If they understand your invention, that point of time only they would be able to put it in proper format, Pankti. Right? I think it is essential. When I say this, we work in life science. When Dr. Gopalji asked me that, Vijay sir, what should be the topic? I said, sir, I can speak on anything, but let me speak on life sciences patenting, because this is my domain. I have a biotechnologist, I have a dentist, I have a chemist, I have a zoologist, I have a pharmacologist, I have a chemist working with me. They are all patent agents. They understand the life sciences invention. Now, what happens is, you go to any XYZ advocate, a computer science, is he allowed to file a patent? Yes, he's an agent, he can file your patent. But then he doesn't understand the criticalities or technicalities of the invention. If you are a funding agency, I would say, I think if you are a funding agency specifically from biotech domain, that point of time, I would suggest you to onboard IP agents from your domain. I'm telling you again, don't go for the big names. Bade law firms or big firms, let's say, may have, a good exposure or experience, but then, do they understand your tech first? Do they understand the biotech first? If no, because see, need to understand this thing very critically. You are putting 6 to 7 years doing PhD. How is someone from a different domain going to understand your invention in a day? We are putting maximum 1 week for one invention. That's how we are charged, right? So I think as a funding agency, it is very essential, that you have right. It's not about the, I would say, the big bang names, but rather the right kind of people who can actually do justice to the invention. That's how I would try to answer this particular question. I have a novel idea, but I have not performed.
She's from biotech funding agency, and that funding agency gives more than 10 crore rupees for research per year, more than 10 crore.
Dr. Pankti, I mean, I don't know what the agency is actually.
This is
Uh,
Gujarat State Biotechnology Mission.
Okay, wonderful. I think that sounds good as such. So we have been working with some of these, I would say, government, funding agencies for only with respect to, of course, we are not directly working with the funding agencies, but with the inventors actually, with the inventors whom we have got this Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission, RGSTC, in government of Maharashtra. Then we work with some BIRAC related inventions as well, because that's our domain basically, right? Now I have got a question. from Rahul Kumar. I have not performed any experiment to substantiate idea. Can I still file a patent? Absolutely yes, Rahul. I think this is very critical to understand. In fact, I have covered this. You can file a provisional application very easily, right? Based on hypothesis or idea, it is pretty much possible as such, right? And I think then the last question is, I have one granted patent on medical device and want to commercialize. Again, I think Nitin, I have already covered this, that it's the invention that gets commercial. Patent never gets commercialized as such. Rather, I'll tell you, I can do another session if Dr. Gopalji allows on commercialization and tech transfer and licensing. I've been doing this nowadays actually. See, what is important is identifying the right kind of partner for your invention. It is not just having a patent and getting it commercialized. No, do you need to scout for the right partners? Actually, I would say, for commercializing the invention. Try to understand this. I was at a conference in Mumbai day before yesterday and last week actually. Therein, the same question was being asked, is about collaboration. I said, no, it's not about collaboration. It's about the right collaboration with the synergy. Is is the company capable of doing commercialization for your invention? And see, at the end of the day, Nitinji, it is very essential that you have to scout for the partner, right? Not so that's something which is important. uh Vandana has this question, I think, for she may be a student, that what are the overview on patent analyst job. I can again have an entire session on careers on IPR. I have been doing it actually, but I'll broadly tell you, with the law firms or with organization like ours, we have got patent drafting as a I would say one of the profiles that we have. Then there are certain agencies wherein you would have patent searching. Then corporates have freedom to operate. Okay, what is required herein? First, important scientific knowledge of a domain. Of course, you have it. That's why you are here for the session. First, secondly, a bit of, I would say, legal knowledge, but then again, once you qualify patent agent, that's something which is already there as such, like that's presumed basically. And I would say a bit of an interest to search the things, or I would say deep dive into the things basically. That's what we do into the PhD or research, right? So I'm done with the questions. I'm done with the session. Do let me know if I can, I would be of any help. I'm just putting my phone number. Of course, you can get connected with me on LinkedIn. I'm active on LinkedIn, and I think, you
Yes,
can.
I will tag you after this session now on LinkedIn. So those who are
Absolutely.
interested, they will connect with you on LinkedIn also.
Perfect, sir. That
Yes,
sounds good. That
yes,
sounds
yes.
good. Yeah.
I have shared this feedback form also. Those who are interested, they can get that e-certificate. I have posted that Google form. So thank you very much, sir. You have taken most of the question, because briefly people are knowing. But taking question answer, critical questions, that is more important. Ballari, please copy paste this in URL. ये open होता है ना? It's opening. Ballari Panchal link will open. Yes. Any other question, any suggestion you can ask. There are many senior faculties also. I've seen once director from Sanjeevani College, wo sach chale gaye. And this Kalidas ji is also faculty at SRM Institute and other. So you can ask, still you can ask question. Participants.
Sir, I have one question. I am Nitin. Sir, as
Yes, Nitin. Please
sir,
introduce Nitin ji and then ask question.
sir, I am Dr. Nitin Sutar from Sanjeevani College of Pharmaceutical Education Research,
Very
Kopargaon,
great.
in
Good.
Maharashtra near Shirdi. Sir,
I
I
am
have
coming.
one. I have one medical device patent, just like our asthma rotahaler is there, that I have converted into the pen-like structure. So you can move anywhere by loading the doses. Near about 7 to 8 capsule you can load. So I have granted that one a patent 3 years back. Now I want to approach to the most of the company, but no one industry is there is ready for that one. Might be they have their own product, so how I can reach to the industry for the commercialization purpose.
I think Gopalji, I have already covered this, and Nitinji had already asked this question. But then again, to be more precise, I would say look out for the kind of companies which are like I mean, you need to do that competitive intelligence or landscape. Who all are people who are involved into this? And then look out for a scout for the right partner.
Nitin ji,
Yes, sir.
I'm coming to your college on 13th for that lecture series.
Okay, sir. Sure. Welcome, sir.
Yes. So for selling your things, there is no shortcut method. Patent is your right. But whether
Yeah.
that thing, that technology is useful to society or not, first thing. Second thing, whether society is accepting or not. Third, who has capability to expand it, whether they are convinced with your product or not. So there are multiple factors to sell your things. आपके पास कोई एंटिक आइटम है पुराना, मान लो कि गांधी जी का चश्मा है, आप बोलेंगे हम गांधी जी के टाइम के हैं, कोई लेने वाला होगा, कोई नहीं भी, जीरो पैसा किसी के लिए, या किसी के लिए करोड़ों रुपया, आप समझ रहे हो आप? You have to convince the people who have capability to take.
Sir, for this one purpose, I approached to the physician also, and as they are accepting that one thing, which is modified, because of which the dose of the drug is also to be reduced.
Okay.
As 1 inch maximum rotahaler is to be good there, but my product is there that reaches to the maximum size to the mouth, because of which oral toxicity is not to be occurs. So that is the main thing is there.
कुछ चीज सीक्रेट रख के जो आपका है, देन यू
Yes.
डिस्कस इन कॉमन प्लेटफॉर्म और टू कंपनी, है ना, एंड देन यू कैन
Yeah.
मेक सम वीडियो, डोंट डिस्क्लोज
Yeah.
एवरीथिंग टेक्निकल थिंग, but
Yeah.
yes, you can show the application of your device and then
Yeah.
make video also. Sometimes people can invest money to
Yeah.
for this your technology, है ना?
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
sir,
sir.
beyond what you mentioned, maybe Nitinji, I have shared my phone number. I'll be happy to help individual.
Yes, sir.
Not on the
Sure. I
phone.
have take your number from this one. And very
Yeah.
nice session, sir. Very interesting one.
By the way, I have also delivered the same similar session at your institute when you mentioned Sanjeevni.
Yeah.
Because of course offline I haven't visited, but then I have
So
delivered.
directors are also there in case of our listening. Dr. Vipul Patel sir is there. That
हाँ,
is
he always
director.
join in my science dialogue series, Vipul Patel.
Yeah.
वो हमें
Sir,
साथ
share
में
me
हैं.
that one link, so I joined that one.
Yes,
Right.
yes. So
Uh,
thank you very much. If you have
thank
any suggestion, anything, still you can connect to Vijay sir on LinkedIn or phone. He's happy to help. And those who are institutional head, you can also call him for lecture for your student, for your researchers.
Thank you, Dr. Gopalji. I'll also take your leave because I have to join some other call.
Yes.
Like
I also
but then it was.
only convey participant that I will take 1 hour, Hana. So that is fine.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good.